as a fan watching it, it was not my favorite final. I'll put it that way. And I'm glad that I wasn't in it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV. Now, let the buzz begin.
I got a challenge beast, a challenge champ, Miss Cara Maria. How's it going, my friend?
It's going great. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad I get to talk to you. I gotta know, what did you think about that final challenge where everyone was in the water? It was pretty much a whole swimming challenge.
I'm, as everybody knows, I'm not a huge fan of swimming challenges, but so I'm pretty thankful that I didn't have to do it, to be honest with you, because that I would have been with Kyland probably. I think it's tough because I think that this final basically boiled down to popularity votes and swimming. And at the end of the day, I don't think a checkpoint really could really, made or broke anyone, but it just came down to, are you a good swimmer? And, how many friends do you have in the game? So I think that's, as a fan watching it, it was not my favorite final. I'll put it that way. And I'm glad that I wasn't in it because I couldn't, my heart, even if it was a final, even if the swimming wasn't an issue and I dominated, but like, not in Jenny fashion, but still, I mean, Jenny and Jordan untouchably dominated, which is incredible. And they had to do it because they didn't have the popularity votes behind them. But when I tell you, my life before my eyes watching that, I'm like, this is how, because I didn't know how they were going to put the karma points. I
Mhm.
was like, oh, maybe, in the final, if you get really good karma points, you'll get like an advantage. You'll get a comfier place to sleep. You'll get a speedboat ride instead of having to swim one of the legs, or you'll get a couple puzzle pieces put in, or a hint or a clue or a calculator or whatever it is. I thought there were going to be advantages, but not a full, we're just going to vote you into first place. That was great for her. But my heart, if that happened to me and I got bumped, my heart would have get ripped out of my chest,
Well,
because of All Stars.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because there's been this huge debate on whether, the karma points or votes were fair or were they not fair. What's your stance on that?
I mean, it's not fair, but it's the challenge. So the thing is, it's part of the game. It's what they decided they wanted it to count as. And, you could do as well as you could do physically. And Jordan and Jenny had to absolutely dominate the final without question, dominate so that there was no room that they could get bumped out of first place. And so, I think it's rather unfair. I look at Michelle, who really got screwed over by that, money wise, and she that was probably one of the hardest finals for me looking at that I would never want to do because of all the elements. And for her and the people in the final, the women in the final, were incredible. And for Michelle to do as well as she did, and to have it just kind of like be taken, like she doesn't even, in the books, she got third place, um, after the fight that she had and after truly, truly winning second, I find that heartbreaking. So
Yeah.
I am not a fan of karma points when it comes to, I'm a fan of it if it's, oh, you were a really good person. These votes are gonna help you, like in the Hunger Games, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you get some food or you get something, like some kind of like a little karmatic advantage, but not just literally just winning because you have friends. I
I,
find that like and honestly, if I won that way too, I probably would I'd be extremely humble about it. That's all.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that you had no idea like what these karma points were gonna be like when it comes to the final. So now knowing what you do know, would you have changed your points when with the people that you gave them to?
No, because I didn't want to. It's messed up because on one hand, obviously Johnny, I had to give him a one. But everybody else, they didn't hurt me in the game. They didn't do anything shady. I mean, they played their votes or whatever. I just have history with Johnny, and he likes to be number one, so I gave him number one. But I really didn't want to, I didn't know how it was going to work and I didn't want to mess anybody's game. Like I was going to sit there and be like, well, Jordan voted me in, so I'm going to give him 3 points. And then I'm going to give, and Rachel and Jenny work with Johnny, so they get three. And then I really want, Tori and Michelle and Derek to do good, so I'll give them a five. And then Johnny gets one. Like, I didn't want to start doing that. I was just like, let the chips fall where they may. Everybody worked really hard and I wish them the best.
Right. And this was such a really cool season for you. One, you took a really long break. People were like, "Where is Cara Maria? We miss her." But it was really cool for you to come back because it was kind of like, I guess you could say a full circle moment with you and some other people on the show that you did have beef with, but you're now like, it seems like you're good with them. One being Tori, another being Amanda, where you both had a little heart to heart. Um, like in the future, like could you see yourselves like aligning with them, in a future challenge season?
Sure. You never know what's going to happen or, what the theme's going to be. But, you know, most of it, like I've come so far and I've just separated real life from the game and I'm in a good place. And, the game's the game and real life's real life and anything can happen.
Yeah, and what was it like coming back after so long? Was it just like riding a bike, you just get back on and it's easy, or were you trying to figure out like who's in with who? What was all that about?
I was just coming off of All Stars, basically, was the last thing that I did. And All Stars was really difficult for me. People were not nice. It was, the mean girl situation. Um, and I was just constantly targeted at every turn. So coming back into the flagship, I'm like, all right, so you've got Anissa, Tori, and the whole Vacation Alliance. They're going to come after me. Amanda, we didn't end up on the best of terms. She'll come after me. If Tori's not in the way. Johnny and Laurel are gonna come after me. Like, I was just like, I'm like Michelle and Olivia. They're probably gonna come out. Like, I just, I just assumed, that I was just gonna get attacked on all ends. And as soon as so I was just prepared. I was prepared for survival mode. I was prepared that I was terrified and anxious, and I knew that like I have to win or I'm gonna be voted in. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So, when right off the bat, Johnny and Laurel came after me, I'm like, and here we go.
But you know what,
So
you did such a good job though. You made it. You were so close to the final, and I know for a fact so many people were rooting for you like no other.
glad
So
I didn't embarrass myself in that final. And then like it would have been a guaranteed fourth. Like I don't know how I know Tori was feeling like absolute ass from that elimination, as was I. Like I know the next day, literally I honestly all I could think about was Tori. I washed up at on the beach, gave my karma points to TJ, literally went right in the hotel right next to that beach on that beach and was in dire pain. I was just like limping around the hotel. My body was shit from the running through the castle and then that 3 hour you can't imagine how much it exhausts your body. And I'm like, I got to sleep, I got to eat a good meal, I got to sleep in a comfy bed. Um and I feel like shit. And I also was getting sick. So it's like I was, vomiting. It was just really bad, and I think from the water, whatever water got in my system, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, Tori is running a fine right now. She didn't get to go to sleep in a comfy. I don't think she. I think she's standing up on a boat all night. Like I didn't know she got to lay down on a crappy little mattress, but like I just was sitting there. I'm like, Tori is destroyed today, and if she feels a fraction of what I feel, I'm like, I don't know how the hell she's gonna get it together to win this final. I felt bad for her.
that was insane, and that elimination was insane. I
Yeah.
want I want to talk about just your legacy on the challenge because you're pretty much you're the face of the challenge. Like literally, there are like posters of your face when they're promoting the challenge. You're the face of the challenge. And you started on, a fresh meat season. And you actually posted about this on your social media. I guess someone asked a question like, what do they have to do in order to, get on the challenge? And as we all know, it's, everyone that's, or the majority of the people that are on the show are from other reality shows.
Mhm.
But you were on such a unique season where it was just regular people coming on to the challenge. Why don't you think they do another freshman? Because they've done it a little bit where they brought your family members on, but just like a full-on fresh meat they haven't done again.
I think if I'm going to put on my producer's cap, the reason they don't do fresh meat is because you're taking a risk on some dud personalities or how people are, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a risk. So by them grabbing people from other TV shows, other countries, maybe they're bringing in a fan base, maybe, they've watched them on the show, which is, I'm still questioning like some of the choices they make, regardless. But they have a reason for everything. And as long as I'm on that list, I don't care what they do or how they do it or what twist or, hey, Cara, let's do this challenge and you're automatically going to be in last place. I'm like, I don't care. Do I get to play? Like, I don't care about anything they do anymore. I just want the chance to play.
All right.
But I mean, I do think that the fans would love a fresh meat season, but my idea was if you could get a group of OGs like road rules style, I would like get us all together in like a road rules situation, have us go around to different cities and they could do little competitions there and it's almost like The Voice where you get like a little background of the person before they compete and stuff like that. Um and then you can pull winners or whatever the case is, and then so people have an idea of these people, of their journey, of their little backgrounds, just slight attachment. You can see how they are on camera. Are they worth bringing? You know what I mean? And then from there you get a group of contestants who come and do a fresh meat season and then they're paired with OGs. But it's like at least people will have some sort of like attachment to them, not just like, hey, we handpicked all these people, here they are, fresh meat. So you know what I mean? Like I think you could get 2 seasons out of it that people would love to follow and that would be exciting and something different. So
I
that was
actually
kind of my
like that
thought.
idea. That's a good idea. Producer Cara, I like it.
Listen, I
That's
have
a
a lot of great ideas. Just like I said, I think the karma, the fans would have loved it if it was like, oh, you got bad karma. So Johnny, you have to sleep on the deck on the cement. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not actually going to completely determine what place they get, but it's going to make the ride either a little easier or a little more difficult. You know what I mean? I think fans would get a kick out of. I like I'm saying, I know what the producers were thinking with the karma. I don't like the way it ended up in the end, the way it played out. I
right.
think that's it makes me sad.
Well, and something that I saw on Twitter also, and I didn't even know this, it was so a lot of the Fresh Me cast, you guys were also auditioning for the Real World Road Rules Bad Girls Club. What did you audition for other than yeah, what did you audition for? Was it Real World Road Rules, Bad Girls Club, or any of those?
Definitely not Bad Girls Club. But it was real world. I just literally just applied to the real world because they didn't do castings for fresh meat at the time. The fresh meat were real world potentials that they just couldn't find a place for, but that they knew they wanted the personalities somewhere. So then they just brought them straight to the challenge. And so they interviewed me for real world, then they interviewed me for Bad Girls Club. And I'm like, I'm not a bad girl, like I'm not a bad girl, like, but I'm just gonna see the casting process. I want them to meet me. And then thankfully they gave me a spot. And then thankfully they gave me another chance after I was the first one booted. So it's like I am extremely fortunate and thankful for the chances that got taken on me, to actually get the chance to play. I would have never like volunteered when they said, "Oh, congratulations, you're on Fresh Meat." I'm like, "What's that?" Like I didn't. I was like, wait, I want to do the show where I just get to like have fun and get drunk and like not get eliminated. But I've been fighting for my life since I got on the challenge. And now I feel like it's a statement of pride, whereas we used to get made fun of like, oh, you're just a real world reject. Like, you're not even a real cast member. And now it's like, bitch, I was born on the challenge. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I use it as like pride now instead of the way they used to treat us.
Do you know what real world it was that you applied for?
I think they were considering me, I think it was Cancun and then DC. And they were just like, I just didn't fit in the cast. You know what I mean? Like I think they really considered it, but when they're plugging in the personalities and stuff like that, and I must have just not fit with that group. But fresh meat.
You know what? But it was meant to be because now look where you're at. Because like I said, you're pretty much the face of the challenge. Everyone loves you. You're a beast. You're a challenge champ. I want to talk about like your legacy on this show. Like when you first came on the challenge, like did you see yourself becoming, this person that you are now, like this person that everyone loves, this icon?
Absolutely not. And thank you for all your flattery. Um, I it was the cliche girl that literally never did sports. I've told this story a million times, but like never did sports. I was the art kid. I just wanted to like finger paint, make arts and crafts, hang out with my horse on the weekends. Like I was never popular. The popular group at my high school made fun of me. I just was always on the outs, and I was always like had to do things that were different. So, and I was always the last kid picked in anything athletic. Like they knew I was gonna suck. So me ending up on the challenge and it molding me to who I don't know who I'd be if I never did the challenge. I'd probably maybe still be bartending. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'd be without it. I think the challenge has it's tested me, it's molded me, it's put me in some very difficult situations with people, with the actual challenges, and it's really pushed me to learn more about myself and what I'm capable of. And I think the reason why maybe people relate to me or like me is because of the being fortunate enough to come to multiple seasons, you're allowed to see people's growth or not growth. Some people stay the same forever, and you know what you're getting when you see them. And with me, I was always the fighter, and I went from the underdog fighter, weird ass, like, do I even want to root for this girl? Or she's whiny, she's a crybaby, I don't like her, to being a champion. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some people pop on, and you know right away, they're just really good, they're just gonna win all the time. Cool. Do you know what I mean? And I think I really had to fight for it. So maybe that's what, helped people kind of roll with me. So I have to be thankful for that.
So I guess it's pretty safe to say that you're on it for the long run when it comes to, 41, 42, 43. As long as you get that call, you're like, I'm there.
It's true. I really, 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 really want to live on All Stars though. As hard as that was for me, that was because of the group of people I was thrown in with and what they were all doing and stuff. That was difficult, but I love All Stars. I love the games. I love the filming time. I think it's fun. I love the music that they use. Like it's campy, it's fun. I love All Stars and I would love to live there. But if I get called for the flagship, I'm not gonna be like, nah. Like I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. It's all I know, you know what I mean? Like it's what I know. And I'm just stubborn enough that like that's how I survive. And I guess I'm gonna do it till like I don't want to look at myself on TV anymore. I'm like, oh girl, like end it. You know what I mean? But if I'm
Yeah.
doing okay, I can keep coming back. If I start being a loser who goes home early all the time, and I mean it happens. So, you go home early sometimes. It's happened to CT. It's happened to a bunch of people, and then he comes back and wins a bunch of championships. But if it's a consistent thing, I'll be like, Cara, hang it up so that people remember you and you're a legend, not don't go out a loser.
No, you will always be a legend. What do you think about this upcoming season?
Well, I am excited to see some faces back that we haven't seen in a long time. Like Frank, he's a troublemaker. you know, and he's really smart and he's really good. So, you know, Shane, they don't call him Shady Shane for nothing. He's always going to cause chaos. Um, I'm excited to see the partnership of Adam and Steve because I think that's going to be they are like Laurel and me. They're an absolute like I'm team Steve. um and who else am I excited about? Ashley's making her big comeback, so I'm
Yeah.
excited to see her stir the pot there. Uh, is there anybody else I'm missing that we're excited about? Are you
Pretty much
excited about
the whole cast. I was like, this is a
Avon?
stacked
That's
lineup.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
Um,
very excited.
I'm excited. My heart is slightly broken. That that it's not its roots anymore. I know All Stars was supposed to be just people who were on Real World, Road Rules, Fresh Meat, the OGs that people haven't seen in forever, and now they're like, and bless their hearts, you know, but now they're like Melissa and Big T, Fessy. You know what I mean? It's like Big Brother, come on in, UK, come on in, and it's like, wait, like this is what made All Stars different, you know? So I was a little bit like, well, you know what I mean? Like I like the OG situation, but now it's just basically like, you know, you've got Budweiser and you've got Bud Light. You know what I mean? So now it's just basically this it's same, just maybe a little easier and more fun, but same.
That's
I don't
so
know.
crazy you mentioned that because I was literally thinking the same. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Big T and Melissa, like two of my favorite
Sure.
competitors. But
They'll
I was like,
bring drama for sure.
yeah, yeah. But I was like, they're not really, old school. Like, they're not from the real world rules or like the fresh meat crew. But I'm still here for it. I'm still here for it.
I just, you know, I think of what, you know, when Mark was really pushing for All Stars and everybody was so excited, like, oh my God, it's gonna be like oh geez, it's gonna be like silly, stupid challenges. Like it's gonna be such a throwback, nostalgic, and fun. And now they're like, oh, you were just on Big Brother and on the last season of the challenge. Well, come on over. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be like a little different, and so I'm a little disappointed by that. But I still know it's gonna be obviously a great season, and I'm gonna watch it anyways because I have to see
Yeah.
Ashley.
Hands down. I do want to talk about something that you recently posted on your Instagram. So you were pretty much talking about you had a tumor growing in your uterus and you had surgery about that and you were talking about just how that surgery went from then until now. Can you talk more about that for people who didn't know anything about what you were going through?
Oh, well, I'll try and make this as quick as possible, but so this is like usually it's non-cancerous, this type of tumor, and about 80% of women end up with this. Usually in their 30s it starts growing. So a lot of women and you know they'll experience like heavy flow or like exhaustion or their stomachs will start expanding and they just think they're bloating all the time. So they're trying to find ways to reduce the bloat and they don't know because women don't talk about it that it could be a fibroid. So fibroids, depending, you know, where it grows in your uterus or how big it is or how many you have, there can be multiple, will affect what symptoms you have. It can, somebody in my comments said that trying to have a baby, like bring a baby to term, it's like trying to grow a flower in a rock garden, which was a really good way to put it. So I knew that there was something not right with me, and it was after season 32. I was like, what is going on? Why is my lower stomach so big? Like, I'm fit. I eat like healthy. Why is my stomach sticking out like this? And I had some other problems associated with too. Like, I constantly had to pee. I had a huge amount of pressure, but I wasn't experiencing like the blood loss that a lot of women get. But I was like, something's wrong. And I went in to get my IUD checked. They couldn't find the strings and then they thankfully sent me to get an ultrasound and on the ultrasound the woman's like did you know about do you ever hear about fibroids and I'm like my mom was riddled with them, it's hereditary a lot of times. um and so then I had to go and get it checked to make sure it wasn't cancerous and then she's like we'll just let it chill for a year and see how much it grows and I'm like okay. And so a year later, it went from like 11 to 16. And I'm like, we're getting this thing taken care of immediately. A lot of women go straight for hysterectomies, or they'll go for like myomectomies or laparoscopies. Like there's all these things you can do. And a lot of people don't know about embolization, which when you have tumors on other parts, organs, or things like that, they do embolization, which is when through a nick in your wrist or your thigh, they go in and then they put these little like silicone pellets or something that stop the blood flow, so that basically this thing will grow as long as it has blood flow and hormones. So if you hit menopause, it'll start to like shrivel up and you won't grow anymore. But usually in your 30s, they'll get hyperactive. That's when they'll start. So I suggest all women, if you feel something's not right, get a damn ultrasound and check to make sure you don't have fibroids. And if you do, get them taken care of before they become a problem. And so the radiation, a radiologist does fibroid embolization, where a surgeon does surgery, hysterectomies, and stuff like that. Surgeons cut, radiologists sneak in and block. So my fibroid, I did get the it's like an in and out procedure. Um, and it shrunk from 16 to 9. I think nine's about as small as I'm going to get. It's dead. It's not going to grow anymore, but I could grow new ones. So it's like a constant battle. And so many women, especially in the African American community, deal with it way more. And so it's just something that I think we as women need to talk about and spread awareness about. It's not a pretty thing. My mom suffered with them her whole life and said, she's like, why are you talking about this? Why are you going online talking about this? I was like, because other women might be going through it and I don't want people to wait like I did. I want people to know the options. I want to help people. And I know if they hear my story, maybe it'll help someone. And it's insane the amount of feedback I've gotten on how it's helped people to check for themselves or show them that there's other options. And yeah, so definitely want to spread awareness on that for sure.
Well, and I want to thank you so much for spreading that awareness and being so comfortable to like just talk about that. So thank you. And I'm glad you're doing okay too.
Thank you. I mean, it's not sexy. I'm like, oh yeah, I got these big ass tumors in my uterus. Like,
Right, right.
it just affects so many women, and a lot of women tend to suffer in silence. Like, ah, I'll just deal with it. Or like they'll go to their doctor and the doctor's like, ah, just wait it out. Or, oh, just get a hysterectomy. Like either the doctor brushes off the pain or brushes off the symptoms or tries to put them on drugs, or just says, get your uterus taken out. You know what I mean? But you always got to fight for yourself. You got to ask for a second opinion, and you have to know there are other options. So always check them all and see what's best for you.
Right, right. Well, thank you again, Car. And Car, I feel I can just talk to you all day, Car. I can talk to you all day. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with me. Any final words for your fans who love and adore you?
Aw. Um, Honestly, I just want everybody to know that like I so don't take for granted any of the blessings I've been given. I know everybody would kill to be on the challenge, so I know we're out there complaining about stupid shit, but like the thing that we get, like being able to do the challenge is the coolest, most rare experience and blessing that someone could have. And so people watching at home are like, I wish I could do it. Like so many people wish they could do what we do. And so I'm extremely as terrified as I am of everything, literally everything. I am terrified as shit and horribly anxious about competition. But I am beyond grateful for the experiences that I've had and that I don't take for granted what I do, because I know a million people wish they could be in my spot. So, and I wouldn't even be able to do what I do if the fans didn't support or ask for me. So, like, the amount of like humbleness or humility I have for being involved in the challenge and for what the fans have allowed me to experience in this life, like it's you can't put a value on that. It's priceless. So I'm very, very thankful.
Love that. Love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Cara Maria, thank you again so much. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.